You don't say a word. You drop your keys, sit on the floor, and stare at nothing. Somehow, before anyone else notices, your dog quietly walks over, leans against you, and refuses to leave. That moment feels deeply personal. But here's what makes it unsettling. Scientists have actually measured this behavior in a laboratory. Most dog owners swear their dog knows when they're sad. Skeptics usually say it's coincidence. Maybe your dog just wants attention. Maybe it recognizes your routine. Fair enough. But researchers decided not to argue about it. They tested it. In 2018, researcher Emily Sanford and Julia Myers-Manor published a study in learning and behavior. 34 dogs stood behind a transparent door while their owners either hummed a song or pretended to cry. If dogs were simply reacting to noise, there shouldn't have been much difference. But there was. When owners cried, the dogs pushed through the door roughly 3 times faster than when the owners were singing. That sounds impressive, but something didn't add up. Did the dogs understand sadness, or were they simply reacting to an unusual sound? That single question changed the direction of the research, because responding to crying isn't the same as recognizing emotion. A smoke alarm makes you react. That doesn't mean you understand fire. So researchers looked deeper. The stranger discovery came later. In 2016, Dr. Kun Guo and his team at the University of Lincoln tested whether dogs could recognize emotions the way humans do. Instead of showing only faces or only voices, they deliberately mixed facial expressions with vocal tones. A happy face paired with a happy voice, an angry face paired with an angry voice. The dogs consistently matched the correct combinations. That matters because neither clue worked alone. The evidence suggested dogs weren't just watching your face or just listening to your voice. They were combining both pieces of information into one emotional picture, something psychologists call cross-modal emotion recognition. Now imagine yourself walking through your front door after an exhausting day. You don't cry. You barely speak. Your shoulders are lower than usual. Your breathing is slower. Your face looks different. Even your footsteps sound different. Your dog isn't relying on a single signal. Evidence suggests it's processing many tiny changes at once, building a picture of how you're feeling before you've said a single word. That's only part of the story. If dogs can recognize our emotions this well, another question becomes impossible to ignore. How? Wolves can read body language too. They're intelligent. They're social. So why don't wolves look at humans the way dogs do? Researchers believe the answer may not be hidden in a dog's behavior at all. It may be hidden in its face. Researchers believe that somewhere along the path from wolf to dog, something remarkable happened. Dogs developed a small muscle above their eyes that wolves either don't have or have only in a much weaker form. The discovery, published in PNAS, wasn't about intelligence, it was anatomy. That tiny muscle lets many dogs raise their inner eyebrows, making their eyes appear larger, rounder, and more infant-like. At first glance, it seems insignificant. But evolution rarely keeps something that serves no purpose. The stranger discovery came when researchers compared shelter dogs with wolves. Dogs repeatedly used this eyebrow movement during interactions with people. Wolves barely did. Evidence suggests that over thousands of years of domestication, humans may have unconsciously favored dogs that produced expressions triggering stronger caregiving instincts. Generation after generation, those tiny differences accumulated. Think about what that means. This wasn't simply humans changing dogs. Researchers believe dogs may also have been changing us, because every time humans instinctively chose the softer face, the more expressive eyes, or the animal that seemed easier to understand, both species shaped each other's future, but evolution added another layer. Imagine walking through your front door after another terrible day. Your dog notices the slower footsteps. It hears the change in your voice. It reads your face. It quietly combines those signals into one emotional picture. Then it looks back at you with eyes that thousands of years of evolution may have made even harder for your brain to ignore. That moment suddenly feels very different. Not because your dog has human thoughts, not because it understands every problem you're carrying, but because two different species have spent thousands of years becoming unusually good at reading each other. Scientists still debate exactly how much dogs understand our internal emotions versus the behaviors that reveal them, but almost nobody argues about one thing anymore. No other domesticated animal has accumulated this combination of behavioral evidence, cross-modal emotion recognition, and specialized facial anatomy for communicating with humans. That's why your dog's reaction doesn't always feel random. It may be the product of one of the longest evolutionary partnerships our species has ever formed. So the next time you come home exhausted, say nothing, and your dog quietly chooses to stay beside you, remember this. That moment may not have begun in your living room. It may have begun thousands of years ago when the first wolves stayed close enough to humans for both species to slowly change each other forever. And if one decision made by a few curious wolves could reshape two species, imagine what other ordinary moments in your life are actually echoes of ancient evolution.